BTS News Today. In the midst of the seemingly calm and hopeful mood of BTS fans, an unexpected event shook the ARMY community around the world. The shocking news came from one of the BTS members, Jimin, who has been known as a gentle, affectionate, and full of warmth. But today, the curtain of mystery that has been covering his story begins to unfold, and the truth that emerges is not only shocking, but also has a huge impact on the group's internal relationship, especially between Jimin and Jungkook. Starting from an upload that spread quickly in the online community of fans, there were video footage and pieces of conversation that allegedly came from the BTS member's private practice room. In the recording, it appears that Jimin speaks in a tone that is far from usual calm, but loaded, like someone who finally chooses to express all his heart after so long harbored. He claimed to have kept something very important, something that he had never even shared with the other members. ARMY suddenly fell silent, their hearts racing fast, wondering what their beloved idol would reveal. Jimin's confession became the starting point for the opening of a series of secrets that had been neatly hidden. With a trembling voice, he admitted that he had wanted to leave the entertainment world, not because of a lack of love for music or being tired of the stage, but because of the inner conflicts that constantly haunted him. He feels caught between the demands of being a public figure and his personal desire to live as an ordinary human being, not an idol who always has to be perfect in the eyes of the world. But that wasn't the only thing that shook the ARMY. In his honesty, Jimin also mentioned that the only person who knew about the intention was Jungkook. The statement immediately drew attention to the relationship between the two members who had been known to be very close. Jungkook, who was known to be so protective of Jimin, turned out to have kept the burden alone for years. ARMY also began to wonder, is this the reason why Jungkook often looks restless in some moments? Was this the cause of his recent outburst in a live broadcast watched by millions of fans? Not long after Jimin's confession spread, Jungkook finally appeared through a private message shared on the Weverse platform. In his messages, he does not try to mask his emotions. He was angry not because Jimin had revealed his secret, but because all along he felt abandoned, not fully trusted, and forced to keep something so heavy all by himself. Jungkook said he felt betrayed by the system and the situation, not by Jimin personally. But the emotion that emanated from her message clearly reflected the deep wounds that had been hidden behind her dazzling smile. The impact of this recognition is tremendous. Not only did it leave ARMY speechless in emotional silence, but it also sparked a wide discussion about the pressures experienced by K-pop idols. Many fans began voicing their support for Jimin and Jungkook, encouraging the entertainment industry to be more open to the mental health of its artists. Even some South Korean celebrities commented, expressing their concern and admiration for Jimin's courage in opening up old wounds he had long buried. But the story doesn't stop there. In a private meeting between BTS members held in one of their rehearsal rooms, it was revealed that Jungkook's anger had made the atmosphere very tense. Witnesses mentioned that he was even reluctant to look at Jimin for a while, choosing to stand away while clasping his trembling hands tightly. But as time went on, and after RM took on the role of mediator, tensions began to melt. Suga, calmly, invites all members to look at this issue from a broader perspective, that each of them carries wounds and burdens that cannot always be shared directly, even with the closest friends. Tears flowed, hugs intertwined, and for a moment, the rehearsal room was a silent witness to the strength of a bond that could not be destroyed by a moment's anger. Jimin finally said in a hoarse voice, "I don't want to make you guys feel distant from me. I'm just scared. But I realize now that I should have shared that fear, not kept it to myself." Jungkook, whose eyes were red and full of anger that had not yet been fully extinguished, slowly approached and hugged Jimin tightly, as if to make sure that he would never again lose the person who meant so much to him. ARMY, who witnessed these moments through a documentary shot by HYB's production team, dissolves in complex feelings, sad, moved, but also proud. BTS takes pride in showing their humanity, showing that they are not only a bunch of stars who shine on stage, but also human beings who learn from pain, anger, and forgiveness over time. This event became a turning point in the relationship between the members. Jungkook begins to be more open in voicing his feelings, and Jimin is more daring to show his true side, no longer feeling the need to always smile if his heart is hurt. The ARMY responded with an overwhelming wave of support. Hashtags such as hashtag We Love You Jimin, hashtag Stay Strong Jungkook, and hashtag BTS Forever topped the global trend for over 24 hours. In fact, fan communities from various countries organized virtual support events as a form of their love for these two idols. The media was busy raising this story, with various headlines describing the tension and resolution that occurred. Some called it a BTS emotional storm, while others called it a revival of true friendship. But whatever the title, one thing's for sure. This moment bears witness to the fact that honesty and compassion remain at the heart of BTS relationship, not just as co-workers, but as brothers. Shortly after the event, Jimin released a song that he wrote during those difficult times. The song, titled Let Me Breathe, immediately touched the hearts of listeners, with lyrics that tell about the struggle and loneliness, fear of loss, and hope to continue to be loved despite not being perfect. The song was warmly received and managed to top the international charts in just a matter of hours. Jungkook followed up by releasing a video cover of the song as a form of support for Jimin. In the caption, she wrote briefly but meaningfully, "I hear you now, and here I am." Jimin's courage and Jungkook's anger, which at first seemed like a storm that would destroy everything, actually became the path to a deeper understanding between the two of them and also the entire group. BTS once again proved that they are not just a musical phenomenon, but also a symbol of emotional strength, courage and openness, and the importance of belonging to each other in a world that is sometimes too hard to go through alone. Now that the storm has subsided, BTS is standing stronger than ever. They appeared before the ARMY again in a live special, dressed casually and without makeup, showing that they were human beings, not stars. During the broadcast, Jimin held Jungkook's hand and said, "Thank you for being mad at me. Because from there, I realized how valuable you are." Jungkook smiled, then replied, "And thank you for being honest. Because of your honesty, we stay together." Armies around the world cheered in tears and proud smiles. BTS is not just about music, dance, or performance. BTS is about a family that is not always perfect, but always trying to keep each other safe. And that day, they witnessed not only the revealed truth, but also unshakable love. The love that keeps BTS and ARMY loyal forever. After the events that shook the global community, the public is now witnessing an incredible emotional transformation of BTS members, especially Jimin and Jungkook. The two idols who had been caught in a whirlpool of misunderstanding and inner pressure are now actually stepping forward with a stronger bond than before. And as this news continues to spread, the wave of empathy from fans does not subside. In different parts of the world, the ARMY gathered, virtually and in real life, to express their love and support for BTS' emotional journey. The special live broadcast by BTS not only became a cover for the internal crisis that had surfaced, but also became the beginning of a new era, an era of openness, honesty, and a more human connection between idols and their fans. In one segment of the broadcast, Jimin, known as the oldest Hyung, gave a meaningful message. "We used to think we should always be strong in front of the camera. But today, I realized, true strength is daring to look fragile." Hyung, with a heavy voice and teary eyes, added, "I saw how Jimin struggled, and I'm sorry for not realizing it earlier. We all have wounds. But from now on, we must make sure none of us walk alone."